Hello and welcome back to the BodyMaitre podcast, where we explore the unseen architecture of your life to help you build a better reality. I'm your host, and today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and frankly mind-bending concepts in metaphysical healing. We often talk about healing the past, childhood wounds, ancestral trauma, but what happens when the thing that is blocking you today hasn't actually happened yet in linear time? Today, we are talking about the Future Lives program within the context of spiritual response therapy, or SRT. And crucially, I'm going to show you how we take that high-level SRT concept and use the precision of BodyMaitre to map exactly how that future energy is impacting your four bodies right now. It's a journey into the true nature of time and the soul. To understand a Future Lives program, we first have to suspend what we think we know about time. In our day-to-day human experience, time is a straight arrow moving forward. Yesterday is gone, today is here, and tomorrow is a mystery. But from the perspective of spirit or your high self, time is not linear. It's simultaneous. Imagine a massive apartment building where every room is a different lifetime. Every single thing is happening right now, all under the same roof of eternity. A Future Lives program in SRT refers to energy or a script that your soul has planned for an upcoming incarnation, or perhaps a parallel lifetime that is occurring simultaneously in what we perceive as the future. Usually these future plans are separated from our current awareness by a necessary veil. We aren't meant to know the details because we are here to master the lessons of this life. However, sometimes the veil gets thin. If a future lifetime carries intense emotional weight, trauma, or very heavy lessons, that energy can vibrate intensely enough to bleed over into your current reality. It's like living in an apartment and hearing loud, distressing noises coming through the wall from the neighbor who hasn't moved in yet. You don't see them, but you feel the vibration of their chaos in your own living room. When this happens, you might find yourself dealing with unexplained phobias, deep-seated anxieties, or behavioral patterns that have absolutely no root in your current life experience or even your past lives. You are reacting to a future echo. Let me make this concrete with a real-life example from my practice. I recently worked with a woman, let's call her Sarah, whose life had essentially ground to a halt. When she came to me, she described her existence as purely grey. For years, she had been sinking into a deep pit of lack of motivation and depression. Sarah wasn't just sad, she was disconnected. She had slowly severed ties with her family and her friends. The idea of social interaction felt overwhelming and unsafe to her. Her world had shrunk down to the four walls of her living room. Her entire routine consisted of sleeping too much, eating poorly, and numbing herself out in front of the television. She felt completely stuck, unable to move forward, but with no obvious trauma in her current life to explain this total shutdown. We began her session with spiritual response therapy to identify the root cause. The pendulum quickly swung to a major block, indicating a Future Lives program. We use BodyMaitre charts to act as a magnifying glass, expanding on that initial SRT finding. We needed to know, how is this future energy actually landing in her system today? We doused through her four-body system, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical, to see where this future bleed over was causing the most damage. The reading was profound and immediately clarified why Sarah's current life looked the way it did. Here is what the BodyMaitre research revealed about this future energy imprint. We started with the mental body. The charts indicated strong energy related to drug abuse and being oversensitive. Now remember, Sarah doesn't have a drug problem in this life, but her soul had mapped out a future incarnation involving severe addiction. the intense mental fog, the obsessiveness, and the hypersensitivity associated with that future drug state were bleeding into her current mind, making her feel overwhelmed by the world around her right now. Next, we looked at the emotional body. The primary imprint here was the feeling of being defective. In that planned future life of addiction, the overwhelming emotion was a deep sense of brokenness and shame. Sarah was feeling that future shame today, walking around feeling inherently flawed without knowing why. This cascaded down into her physical body consciousness. The charts showed addiction energy and poor me ideas. While she wasn't addicted to substances today, that vibration of addiction, the desperate need to escape reality, was manifesting as her current addiction to sleep and television. The poor me victim mentality was the heavy blanket keeping her on the couch. Finally, all of this trauma created massive disruption in her spiritual body. The charts showed irritations, spots, and leaks in the aura. Her energy field looked like Swiss cheese because of the intense pressure of this future mental and emotional negativity. Her aura couldn't hold its integrity. She was leaking vitality constantly, which explained her utter exhaustion and lack of motivation. When we sat down to review these findings with Sarah, the pieces finally clicked into place. We were able to offer her a summary that looked something like this. Sarah, the reason you have felt so stuck, disconnected, and exhausted isn't because you are failing at life today. It's because you have been unknowingly carrying the heavy backpack of a future lifetime. Your soul had sketched out a future plan involving deep struggles with addiction. The intense energy of that future state, the feeling of being mentally overwhelmed, emotionally defective, and trapped in a poor me cycle has been bleeding through time and affecting you right now. Your current behaviors, like isolating yourself, sleeping excessively, and zoning out in front of the TV, are actually coping mechanisms. Your system is trying to manage the phantom pressure of that future addiction energy. You aren't lazy. You are spiritually exhausted from fighting a battle that hasn't happened yet. Your aura is leaking energy because it can't contain that future trauma. By identifying this now, we can clear this program, patch those energy leaks, and give you back the energy to live this life right now. Once Sarah understood that these feelings weren't hers in this timeline, the healing could begin rapidly. That is the power of combining the scope of SRT with the precision of BodyMaitre. If you feel like you are carrying a weight that doesn't belong to you, perhaps it's time to look at the bigger picture of your soul's journey. Now, information is power, but in BodyMaitre and SRT, information is just the first step. The true transformation happens when we take that awareness and use it to shift the energy. We don't just want to know why Sarah was suffering, we want to end the suffering. In a session, once we have identified these specific blocks, the drug abuse consciousness in the mental body, the defective feeling in the emotional body, and those leaks in her spiritual aura, we use a specific releasing statement. This is a command to the spirit to rewrite the script. For those of you watching or listening who might be resonating with this, maybe you feel a heaviness that doesn't belong to you, I invite you to close your eyes, take a deep breath, and listen to the intention we set for this clearing. You can imagine this clearing happening for you, or simply witness how we direct the energy for the client. For BodyMaitre practitioners, you may now attune yourself into Command Deck and Angelic Hologram to perform the clearing and transformation. Here is the statement we used to clear Sarah's Future Lives program. I now call upon High Self, Spirit, and the collective angelic team. We request to search for, identify, and access the Future Lives program that is currently bleeding discordant energy into this present timeline. We ask to locate the specific future timeline involving the experiences of heavy addiction and despair. we request to fully clear and transmute the following energies from the four-body system. From the mental body, we clear all imprints of drug abuse consciousness, obsessive thought forms, and the program of being oversensitive to the environment. We ask Spirit to dissolve the mental fog and confusion radiating from that future timeline. From the emotional body, we release the deep-seated frequency of feeling defective. We clear the shame, the guilt, and the emotional heaviness associated with this future script. From the physical body, we remove the cellular memory and phantom symptoms of addiction and the poor me victim consciousness. We break the cycle of lethargy, inertia, and the desire to escape reality. And finally, from the spiritual body, we ask to repair, heal, and seal all irritations, spots, and leaks in the aura. Close the tears in the energy field caused by this future pressure and restore the integrity of the protective shield. High Self and Collective Angelic Team, please collapse this negative future timeline and dissolve its influence on the present moment. Disconnect all cords, threads, and energetic bridges that allow this trauma to bleed through. We ask to download and replace these voids with divine wholeness, vitality, and clarity. Harmonize the four bodies with the perfection of the original soul blueprint. Thank you, Spirit. It is done. It is done. It is done. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep exploring